Hey everybody, I'm Nathan. I'm here today to talk about fire extinguishers and hazards with electrical and HVAC systems. So we'll begin by starting with talking about fire extinguishers. And fire extinguishers are pretty common. You find them everywhere: commercial businesses, schools, restaurants, and even here at the fire station. So fire extinguishers, they're intended for incipient stage fires. So meaning a fire that has just began, that hasn't reached its growth phase, meaning that it's going to continue to grow. It's small, minor, and something that you can kind of knock out really quick. So they commonly look like this, and I'll go into this extinguisher a little bit more in a minute, just because this is what we have actually at our fire station for our building code, meaning that it is required for these extinguishers to be in certain places throughout this whole building. So your common types are your 5 types of fire extinguishers. Class A, that's your ordinary combustibles, such as like paper, cloth, some plastics, but mainly like your normal household items. Class B is flammable liquids, so gasoline, diesel fuel, tar, paint, things like that. Class C is electrical equipment like wiring, junction boxes, transformers, things that deal with electricity. The 4th is Class D. That's your combustible metals, such as like magnesium, titanium, or lithium. And Class K is cooking oils. And I like to relate that with K for kitchen, things that you use in the kitchen. So grease, oils, fats, things like that. So about this extinguisher, this is a Class ABC extinguisher. And we'll go ahead and talk about the classifications. So ABC meaning it's good for ordinary, flammable liquids, and electrical equipment. So this is a 10-pound extinguisher, and I'll turn the camera so everybody can see. So number 1, the instructions: pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So how to use it is correctly depicted on the extinguisher itself. I'll set it down. So we can talk about this extinguisher real quick. So on the classification, this is a 4A 80B C extinguisher. So the 4A means that this extinguisher is rated and suitable for extinguishing fires 4 times than the 1A rating. So if this was a 1A extinguisher, it would be suitable for a certain amount of fire. But this is a 4A, so meaning 4 times that. 80B is the amount of square feet that this extinguisher can extinguish for a flammable liquid fire. And C, there's no number rating with C. So the pictures on below the instructions here, these are like common pictograms that are used with many other extinguishers also. But you can see like the Class A here, trash, wood, and paper; B, liquids; and C, electrical equipment. So like I was saying, whoops, that was bad. So our building code here at the station, we have to have fire extinguishers on every entry and egress point in the station. And that's something that is citywide that is used. So any new station that's built now has extinguishers on every egress point, other than like our bay doors to the station. Other than this is a very common type of extinguisher. It's, like I said, it was 10 pounds, is an ABC, and it does pretty much everything that we need to do here. And that's dependent on the area hazards and where the extinguishers need to be placed. Where they need to be placed is dependent on two factors, the class of fire and the potential magnitude of the fire. So that's a small portion of the placement of these extinguishers throughout a building. So NFPA 10 goes over where extinguishers need to be mounted and really how high off the floor they are, and it all goes by weight. So an extinguisher that weighs up to 40 pounds can't be any more than 5 feet from the floor. An extinguisher greater than 40 pounds cannot be mounted 3 feet from the floor, and then all extinguishers have to be mounted at least 4 inches from the floor. And I know we touched on area hazards a minute ago. There's 3 types of area hazards: low, ordinary, and high. And it's exactly how it sounds, a low. It's where a low area hazard is where fire is not very likely to spread. Ordinary hazards are a little bit higher than the low, and then your high hazard areas are obviously higher than the ordinary. So back one last point about these extinguishers, and this one in particular. This extinguisher, you probably can't read it, but this is a ABC dry chem, and it'll tell you on the label the instructions, the recharge, and the maintenance. And also it gives you a range of temperatures where this extinguisher kind of can be stored. So again, let me go back to my point. So the extinguishing agent, this is a dry chem extinguisher, dry chemical extinguisher, but there's multiple agents that you can use: water, carbon dioxide, foam, wet agents, halogenated agents, and dry powder. And dry powder is similar to dry chemical, but dry powder is a little bit more, specific to what we're trying to extinguish, like the Class B flammable liquids and the Class C electrical fires. So that's pretty much it about a fire extinguisher. Really, the operation and use is fairly easy. If you ever forget, just look at the front. If you remember the acronym PASS: pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Pull your pin, aim the nozzle to the fire, squeeze the handle, and then sweep back and forth. So that's pretty much it about fire extinguishers for now. Let's walk into our HVAC room, and we'll talk about some items here. So this is a good depiction of a HVAC here. We have our air handlers here, and one of the key points with our HVAC systems is the recirculation of dirty air throughout a building. So as you can tell, a lot of duct work, a lot of ways for nasty, dirty smoke or contaminated air can go through this system and all throughout the whole building. So here's a good depiction of a duct detector. And I'll come over here and kind of get a little closer. But these duct detectors are meant for detecting contaminated air within a system. And I don't have a light, but that is the duct detector that can read or detect dirty smoke and then show it on the alarm panel that there is dirty smoke within the duct. We talk about electrical equipment. Electrical equipment, just like this panel box here. If I can get it opened up. I just had it open. There we go. So as you can tell, it's a lot of breakers, and these breakers are very good because they can sense either surge in load or something goes wrong, and they can trip, meaning that the power turns off from this breaker. But if there's any faulty wiring or any jack leg wiring going on in this panel here, it could cause either one, electrical shock to you, or it could be a fire. And as you can tell, we have some pretty large breakers here. Well, I was going to get it open. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it open. So yeah, that's pretty much the main parts. HVAC system, the biggest concern is about the recirculation of dirty smoke within the building. That's a good thing about a duct detector is they do read that, and they might not send an actual alarm to the panel. It just might be a secondary alarm if the fire alarm does go off. Being aware of damaged wiring, insulation missing off of wiring, bad splices, bad connections, because they could cause electrical shock, and it could cause a fire from arcing, where there's a gap and the electricity jumps that gap, and it could arc and catch something on fire. Overheating is also a concern, but other than that, electrical shock, there's fire potential, and HVAC systems recirculating dirty air. I don't think there's not many GFI or GFCI outlets here, and I'm having a hard time finding one. I don't believe there'd be one up here, but a GFCI outlet, is ground fault circuit interrupter. They sense whenever electricity goes anywhere to the ground and anywhere that it's not supposed to, it'll cut that outlet off, meaning that it won't allow any more electricity to go through that outlet. So fairly safe. A lot of residential homes and even commercial structures have them also. So that's just, you could tell from the outlet, and I wish I had one to show, but I don't. I just have a normal outlet up here. But other than that, I hope you learned a little bit. Fire extinguisher is definitely a big thing for fire safety, keeping yourself safe, but don't try to go into a fire that is way within its growth stage and into fully developed with a fire extinguisher. They're not meant for that. Be careful with HVAC systems. Duct detectors are a great idea, along with good fire suppression systems within your building, and within your means. It is what it is, but and then being just safe with electrical stuff. Electrical shock's a big deal, and then arcing and overheating within wires is definitely a consideration when looking at buildings and inspections and making sure that things are done right. But other than that, I hope you have a good day. Thank you.